Hi everybody, my name's Bob Dion. I run LakeFreemanLife.com, and I'd like to give you some information about the whole lake lowering situation. We're back into a low flow condition right now, which means we need rain basically. But due to a U.S. Fish and Wildlife mandate from 2012, we're in a situation where we're draining Lake Freeman. So I'd like to just go down a little history lesson of everything that has happened in the last 10 years. It all began on June 30th, 2012, when the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service received a phone call about a river of death. That's right, a river of death on the lower Tippecanoe River. Let's take a look at what a river of death looks like for these endangered mussels that we're trying to save. Here's what they found. Here's the mussels. Fan shell mussels, club shell mussels, sheep nose mussels, raised bean, and rabbit's foot. Here's what we found down there. We found one dead fan shell, one dead club shell, one dead sheep nose, and 5 rabbit's foot. Now, the rabbit's foot they like to put into this list, and the rabbit's foot mussel is not endangered. It's threatened. I have the information right here. I have the original report from U.S. Fish and Wildlife right here. If anybody would like a copy of this, contact me at Lake Freeman Life. I'd be happy to give it to you. This is a fact. Everything I tell you is fact. July 7th, 2012. NIPSCO was ordered by U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. If you don't abide by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, you're in big trouble. They report to the Department of the Interior. That's how powerful the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is. They received an order to release 200 cubic feet a second of water out of the Oakdale Dam during a low flow. Essentially, using Lake Freeman as a watering can to water the mussels on the lower Tippy. Not really a good plan, but a knee-jerk thing to do. So that's what happened on July 7, 2012. I'm going to get to this in a minute, but here's our good friend Chris Peters operating the Madam Carroll, a very important business to Lake Freeman and both Twin Lakes. I don't want to exclude Lake Schaefer from this or the lower Tippy. We're all in this together, people. We're all friends here. We all recreate together. We all love each other. So this is all about fact and information. Chris? So the mandate started out 200 feet a second. They increased it to 350 cubic feet a second. It now stands at 500 cubic feet a second. We argue that's too much. So what's the plan? Just releasing water downriver is not a plan. That's a tactic. What is the strategy to help these endangered mussels? I haven't heard one. I haven't seen one document from U.S. Fish and Wildlife since 2012. We went all the way to the Supreme Court, the U.S. U.S. Appellate Court, for their opinion last year. Let me get to that. We need to have a plan, not just tactics. So what could be the plan? Maybe they develop a rookery bed on the lower Tippy to propagate the mussels. Maybe we involve Purdue University, IU, in working with their marine biology department and how to reproduce these endangered mussels and repopulate them on other waterways throughout Indiana and the upper Tippy. How about further study? Duh. So what's the solution? Duh, we got to have a solution. Perpetuating this 500 cubic feet a second every time we have a low flow, that's not a solution. We got to have an answer. So do we build a temporary dam? Very easy thing to do on the lower Tippy. When we have a low flow situation, we build a temporary dam down there. Big plastic abutments that can be filled with water temporarily to hold the water back, to make sure that the lower Tippy is full of water too. That's a win-win for everybody. Then when we go back to normal flow, we remove those abutments. How about program release? When there's a very large rain event south of the Oakdale Dam, close the Oakdale Dam. If we get 2 or 3 inches on the lower tippy, they don't need any more water. We can let Lake Freeman heal. Duh. And how about this one? Let's go back to 200 cubic feet a second. That's a real simple thing we can do in the short term. You know why? Because 500 is not the answer. Scott Pruitt said that 500 cubic feet a second was his best guess. Well, guess what, Scott? You guessed wrong. All right, so now let's talk minor versus major. This was the big issue with the U.S. Court of Appeals. U.S. Fish and Wildlife said that by letting out a release of 500 cubic feet a second on the lower tippy would have a minor effect on Lake Freeman. So let's talk minor versus major. When the lake is down 6 inches, that's minor. When the lake's down 12 feet, that's major. So you're wrong. The Madam Carroll who just went by, they have a bad night. That's a minor thing, right? When Chris has to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep his business afloat, literally his business afloat, that's major. I could go on and on and on about this, but here is the most compelling thing about the whole situation. How many dead endangered mussels did they find in that rig report? 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 dead mussels are causing this whole nightmare. What happened last year when the lake went down 12 feet? We killed 300,000 mussels. So Scott, in an effort to save a few mussels on the lower tippy, you committed genocide on Lake Freeman and killed 300,000 mussels. Here's one of them. This is a 50-year-old pearl mussel. They used to make buttons out of. There's a factory in Monticello. They used to make pearl mussels, or pearl buttons out of these. That's a 50-year-old dead mussel. Thank you. Not to mention the bald eagles. Yep, they were in danger. They just came off. Blue heron, turtles, river otters. We reintroduced river otters to the lakes 5-7 years ago. And guess what they eat? Mussels. So here's what I know in solving a problem. When man gets involved, it's bad. When man and the government get involved, it's catastrophic. And that's exactly what Representative Braun said. Representative Jim Beard, said in his letter. And his promise to all of us is that he's going to ensure that this year's catastrophe at Lake Freeman is never repeated. That's from his words. So, Representative, we hope you're with us. So, I encourage everybody to contact Representative Beard, Congressman Beard, Senator Braun, and Senator Young. We need their help to fight U.S. Fish and Wildlife. This isn't a battle. This is about common sense, people getting together and coming up with a plan, a solution. If you have any more information, if you have any more questions, you'd like to get a hold of me, please visit lakefreemanlife.com. Thank you.